Oxygen. Here, on the wood planet. Where previously, a scheme is unfolding. To acquire free wood. And some trace amount of free water. And a problem was accumulating, and that we have a bit of a backlog of carbon that needs to be sunk. And a shiny new source of limitless carbon. Highly pressured. Nicely chilled. Good times. So, things to do. It's time to punch open this. Acquire all this water. Bring it somewhere that I can conveniently hook it up and pipe it on down into reservoir and then in turn into hydroponic oxygen farm. By which to really get some things started. Vague estimate is that there's many, many hundreds of days of oxyferin uptime locked in this glacier, and then afterwards, this glacier. And we have one more known geyser location to investigate. Over here. It'll probably be part of the process of collecting some sheep. But for a while might also involve wild sheep. Supposing we can shear them without needing to domesticate them properly. Yeah, there was some rewiring going on in order to bring the internal power grid together in one 2 kilowatt circuit using the fancy wire. And we have a desalinator for desalinating on those occasions where we find brine. Yes, I have somewhere I'm storing salt. Good. Yes, high priority needs to be lended to getting this done. Sheep. I think one of my paths of least resistance to get up there. Just to climb up to around here. Well cycled. Fine orb. And in doing this, I'd want to take advantage of the existing tube as much as possible. Since, okay, so a destination for this pipe is to get it down to the water reservoir there. It would be accomplished by jumping over the ethanol pipe. Just running down. I'm going to be opening up here and dropping the water down this way. The question becomes, where do I drop it to? I think the answer is to over here. If I set up a small barrier, it doesn't even have to be a proper wall, just like an airlock door. Provide a fine temporary barricade, a variable barrier, or barrier. Tunnel out all of this. Then we carve out a path here. Yeah, make sure the whole thing is at least 3 wide at every step so that viscosity doesn't jam up too much the liquid. Something like this. Good fortunes for all. On this wood planet. The approach to the mystery geyser will probably be through this pocket of warm hydrogen and chlorine. Just on the grounds, I prefer not to disturb the wildlife right now until we have our full plan for collecting them. Yes, if I set up a little airlock here. Yeah, that should be able to get them to over here, and then from there they can cruise on up to here. Another airlock to insulate the site. Then we pop up and investigate. And the science will be done. This is known to be another short geyser. Short cold. Other properties yet unknown. Cat's doing good work. Do a bit of priority adjusting here. Building has been strangely low priority for us. I guess we don't have a dedicated builder, really. Chef is always a top priority job. No question. We have several designated parks right now. They're probably doing great things for morale. Yeah, morale is quite large. They do path through the parks. This is on one of the main thoroughfares. And more can be arranged. And right, I need to power this. Yeah, potential consumption on this. Alright, yeah, currently 1.14. And I'm adding another 240. Well, yeah, another 240 down there. This is being kept on its own as a secondary system. If I skim some power off of this and send it up top. From somewhere. Where do I sneak this in? Or I just allow for decentralized direct power. Yeah, that works. Doesn't really need to be more than the one wheel. We do only have 5 total people right now. Yeah, the moment we have that wiring installed, then I can lock that door. Also gonna need filtering. Which, fortunately, I have the parts for. So, on this tube that's coming in, yeah, open up a gap in it so that I can have a sensor to filter off bad water. And priority all of it to get the filter bit installed. Yes, that's in. Lock that door. All this material will be recoverable after we're done in there, including the the jugs of ethanol. The residue that had to be mopped up. It's never going to be out of reach because we have the other ladder. See the merits of leaving giant meandering sections of tube wandering through the planet. They'll find a use. 3 tons of sand. That's a pretty good print right now. But have we even seen any other filtration medium type material laying around? The tiny bit of sand all the way up there. Small pockets of it there. Sand is remarkably scarce on the wood planet. Oxygen is only barely insufficient right now. It's currently more an issue of carbon scrubbing, because we also need to sink the exhaust from the petrol generator. Ruby isn't really doing anything else. As head researcher, when research is on hold until we resolve the resource problem. Water level is up in the reservoir. The current setup is doing its job. And bacteria level has remained manageable? Bacteria count does decline, thanks to the chlorine. I wanted to set up a deoxidizer that took advantage of Saltvine, though. And put that to work, so I'd want, like... I should remain unpaused so that things can continue to flow. There's work to be done. Tube to dig. Ruby's on it. Orb supply is holding up well. Good find. Print that orb. Yeah, they're making good progress. They'll probably get up there today. And if they do, I have no reason not to make the breach as well. So... no mods. This is just vanilla. I've seen a lot of good stuff in the mod workshop. There's no particular interest in it. I start modding a game after I've finished, like, exhausting the core experience. Yeah, they can reach this far up. They should be able to tunnel just up to here and then release the water. Air pressure is kind of low out in the cave, as will happen. Side effect of having no active vent system. It's usable down here, though, and that's where I'm putting the wheel, so that'll be fine. It's fine. Okay, they didn't quite make it out there by way of launch. The atmosphere is holding up, though, for now. Oh, I could breach this, and that would pull all sorts of oxygen up into the cavern. Yeah, this weird high-pressure pocket. Gets me close to those rocks. Absolutely rip the phosphorite out of here. Nothing more important than getting at the water. That's how we turn this whole place around. Yeah, let's see, how much science do we have left to do? Top level food stuff, plastics and mini valves, everything to do with conveyors, medicine. HVAC will be important soon. Those textiles and suits. Well, a lot needs to happen in a bit. When I go for the sheep, I definitely take advantage of the wild plants. Like, I'm gonna set up shiny Draco to get my plastic, smooth Draco. So that can just involve domestic mealwood, since that's very affordable. Dirt is abundant. Dirt will never leave us. The main power system spontaneously generates dirt. Alright, Ruby, why are you working on this, though? I guess because proximity is in play, that sometimes manages to get a hold over the global priorities. Ruby, why are you working on this, though? Or is it because someone else? Yeah, I guess Nicola has dibbed continuing the stairs. Has he? Nicola? Yeah, Nicola's on it. Also reasonably chilly up there. Doing good, Meep. Doing what you oughta. Liquid chlorine. The dream. And when we drain this water, that's gonna do a lot to speed up the melting of the glacier as well. Since then, this heat, wherever it's coming from, less of it will be getting tanked by the fluid. It'll slam directly into the ice. This ethanol might also start to boil if we leave it alone too long. I'll have to collect that as well. First, we skim the water. Long commutes are to be expected. We have a long project. What does liquid chlorine do? It's liquid and chlorine. What more do you need? Hey cat, where you going? What you got there? A tree. Good work. Good plan. Nicola finished the job. You know what? I don't even need to finish the ladder. This. That's my opening. Yeah, do it. Nick, where are you going? Team, please. You have one job. Cat's doing cat stuff. Alright, water in motion. And as the glacier continues to melt, the rest of it will also fall in. Hey, space! Hey, space! A glacier that's exposed to space. What? What? We're at the surface. And so is this glacier. Interesting. Well. Well. To start, we do that. I could try to cover that. It wouldn't hold up well unless I had bunker tile, though. Unless are there no? There's plenty of damage to these. There's probably meteors. Also, hey, there's a bit of neutronium. A geyser this close to the surface is wild. Yeah, Nicola has been denied lunch. Don't worry about it. Because we have a high emergency going on. Put in the airlock. And then, this is safe. I lock that door, we never go out here. The liquid holds up, even under vacuum conditions. Okay, misaligned pods. Interesting stuff. Just, there's the surface. There's space. It's right up there. These don't have pressure requirements. They can survive in a vacuum. They only have a temperature range they care about. And now we have lots of water in the tube. Hey gang. Hey crew. Burnt that barbecue. We have still earned a reward. This is good, what's going on. I'll sort that out. Hey, Liquid Shutoff, why aren't you working? Why aren't you doing the thing you're supposed to do? Oh, this isn't a pipe sensor. And you develop those separately. Alright then, so, different plan. Need to cut this pipe and install a regular filter. better place for it to end up. This can be dealt with in time. Oh, we have a Puffed inside now. Hello. Well, yeah, I think we printed this as a youth earlier. Just wandering around. Would remove this crab. Before, well, not yet. When it becomes upset, when it becomes a hassler. There we go. Now things are moving. Also going to need to filter that. And yeah, boost priority on finishing off all the new wiring. Ten kilograms a second. On our usual 12 wide, 12 wide reservoir. Means it takes 2 days to fill one layer of this completely. When the pipe is fully on. Keep on it, Meep. Space, though. It's terribly convenient. have space right there. Okay, it's looking weird, but it's not a very high mass of liquid down here. We can get that all cleaned out. Build this barricade one layer taller so that we make sure to retain enough chlorine. I don't mind some of it escaping. We'll know where it ends up. It's gonna end up either in a layer here, or like somehow ooze its way down to over here. It rests on top of the CO2, so it won't prevent the oxyfern from doing their job. So, first project. Resounding success. I just need to finish off the rest of it. And yes, everything is in place to receive our newly acquired water after we overflow here. Start up the pump. Oxygen generation is about to get very sufficient. Like you wouldn't believe. So I guess we already know where our space center is going to be built. When the time arrives. Open up that oxygen as well. Bring it into circulation. I guess we're going for this. Gotta know what's in there. Yeah, we're up against the top left corner of the map then. Most of our directions to explore are right and down. Let's help Nicola out. By bringing this into the base. Just sneak it a little closer, a bit at a time. Any actively bad guys? A volcano would be that if you aren't prepared for a sudden violent influx of heat. Yeah, volcano would be it. Volcano can do something immediate and catastrophic, as opposed to other slow-burning catastrophes. Yeah, wood population's good. Cat eggs are confirmed. They're living well. Wood farms are online. A little longer. Liquid is now abundant.
Beep.
We're gonna put that liquid to work. Yes, liquid is now abundant enough that it's time to bring all the wild ferns together, and then relocate our domestic ferns into the device. I have a bit of a coal backlog. And a coal generator would fit up here. Really, I should be planting the ones at the bottom first. They get the most uptime. Thimble reeds. That would remove the need for non-plastic sheep. I could set them up as wild plants, but bring them into the cat zone. Get some free cloth. Yeah, really though, dupes, getting that wire up is important. Red alert is even more. It's a toggle you hit that turns yellow alert into red alert. You alert more so. Bring it up to the override all their considerations, including one's own survival. No sleep, no food, only death march. Okay, the wire is in. Yeah, some meep had better go spin this wheel. Get the water moving again. Green hatch. Dirt hatch. Do I don't have an egg breaker in my current kitchen setup. Let's fix that. Comfy bed, what? Pardon? Did I unearth a real bed at some point? Did someone psychically reach into one of these ruins and take ownership of a fancy bed that they cannot reach? I'm aware of the brain machine. You know what, let's send a bit of water forward just to get that started. Well, alright, this can't detect, Right, it's a liquid sensor only. Never mind. Yeah, it's fine, the water level's getting there. The mealwood doesn't get in the way of this, since mealwood doesn't take any liquid. It's being of pure dirt. Water is up. Almost up. Come on. Come on, water. Water is having a time trying to deal with viscosity. As you do. This next wave should do it. There we go. Tube is on. The oxyferin will soon spring to life. So it begins. Atmosphere. Having a bit of chlorine trapped in the corner here will also do for the, for helping with the disinfecting. Alright, hydroponic pipe is successfully backed up. All fern are ready to go. It's time to activate the lungs. Fern chamber is online. Space for 21 oxyfern. Do I have one more? Yes, you. And you. Well, I guess I can leave that wild one sitting there, just as a little emergency on-site cleaning apparatus. A couple more, 3. Although some of that, like, I queued up the job and then the cats planted the seed and the job wasn't canceled. That's probably it, actually. We should make sure to bring these in. And Oxyfern are willing to hit very high pressures, because they go up until what they can survive, which is 10 kilograms. I'm gonna wrangle that cat out of here. It's doing a mischief. Did you at least you ate that seed, right? You did. Good. Get out of the way. Ah, conveniently. Yeah, let's get the gas sensors as well. Carbon goes here. But at higher pressure as we can manage. And yeah, the circuit's already good. Air is back. Widen these up to help with circulation. And with that, we should be able to afford to print some more folks. Gourmet Night Owl Operator. These aren't great. The algae, though. The Slickster would be wonderful if I already had a hot carbon soup to put them in. The planet is vaguely cold right now. Aside from up here, which this might be space-related heat. That might just be the deadly rays of the abyss warming up this part of the rock. Wolframite. Tungsten. Once we have exosuits, we'll be willing to create a lock and open this place up and go exploring a bit. Airlock is installed. The Explorer can begin. Cats, did you manage to plant that thimbleweed? The thimbleweed seeds have yet to leave. Somebody sweep those. Somebody wrangle these cats. Perfectly good kittens who are just ambling about. They need homes. There we go, cutting into more and more of the surface water. Yeah, the carbon in here is already largely consumed. And the stuff that hasn't been consumed is getting nicely compressed down into the chamber. Alright, the reed seeds are in. Expose some more surface that they might think about for planting. Alright, so where is air pressure poor? Mostly up by the lock, and we're going to fix that soon. The atmosphere is really good right now. Concerns are almost purely with getting the CO2 in here to be counter-respirated. And then, if I wanted to go really wild, I could open up the carbon vent. So a pressure sensor sitting here that opens this door when we are comfortably below less than 10 kilogram, letting more carbon in from the geyser. And then we just have an oxygen machine. Free oxygen. Water into oxygen. As long as I have a guaranteed source of much water, the oxygen will follow. Alright, so we're probing. Nicola, go for it. Yeah, it's hot in here. Alright, tiny bits of oxygen are seeping through the lock every so often. Every time they open the door. I'm gonna need high pressure vents in order to put carbon into this room. This room is going to naturally apply pressure to the world around it. Widen all of this up to improve circulation, so that I can get a lot of air moving in and out of the chamber. Yeah, 40 degree, this is hot. It's unpleasant. This isn't dangerous unless prolonged exposure occurs. Actually, this overlay conveniently for it, so this is somewhere the dupes would warm up, somewhere the dupes would cool off, and everywhere else that they remain vaguely comfortable and heat neutral. Alongside the standard absolute temperatures. A helpful feature. Yeah, so my ethanol distillery and power plant are going to move to down here somewhere. This is where all the carbon needs to be. Getting fed directly into the oxygen. Yeah, the carbon's kind of everywhere. Alright, some people are managing to get small amounts of stress, 44% amounts of stress. Hassan. Some good decor. Oh wait, do I have anyone skilled in art? Yes.
Beep.
Hassan, what is straining you? How's your morale? Low morale from popped eardrums. Alright, so I want to also start pulling the air back out of here actively and send it to other parts of the base. Gas reservoir is soon. Just a bit of fancy research away. The sooner we can get all of this carbon to actually leave the core of the base. Huh, wild. Why would these be negative decor? Look at them. They're quite handsome. Pressure has become unreasonable. And with just a couple more carefully placed doors, I can designate more parks. Will also help with morale. Hey, there's my thimbleweed. Harvest that. Door cats.
Beep.
Ethanol. Germ resistant, squeamish rancher, and decorator. Not a bad Guspin. Or a buff, squeamish constructor and excavator. Yeah, funny. Come on in. Solid set of skills. Get tough. There's our head of construction. And I should start thinking about new living arrangements, since we've now filled this first barracks. Well, there's your problem. Don't really have a way to defeat that vent being over pressure. Well, I know the stopgap I could use is once I finish research, I can set up some buffer tanks. There it is. Sparks have occurred. Very official. Soothing. Yeah, filter in through here, out through there. Filtered input. Alright, yeah, that should be... I want to connect this back to down here. This is purely a buffer. That's just there to be a length of tube. We've dug our way up to the geyser. And what are you, friend? Gotta know. And I guess this guy will be powered off of this system over here for now. Just off the desalinator batteries. Salt water. Salt and water in a geyser. Brine dispenser. Hot salt water. Near boiling. Well, this will be an adventure. Leave it be. Yeah, we're gonna have more use for desalinators. And more fuel for running deoxidizers. Circulation is improving a bit. A lot of this carbon probably descends from the generator, which in turn reaffirms that we're going to move the generator, and with that we're going to move some of sewage handling. Cooling remains not a problem yet. Lamps are going into space, where they want to be. Still never got this pump installed. There's that sage. All fuzzy. Nice. Should wrangle out a Draco habitat. That'll go a ways into the warmth. If I cut it like that. Very cold down here. And then it heats back up at the caustic zone. Hey, there's another glacier. Which means more chance of Wheezewort. Iron nugget. Liquid phosphor. You'll love to see it. As things get a bit, yeah, hey. 1000-degree obsidian. How you doing? Magma, somewhere over there. Hot salt water building up. Yeah, there's a steam cavern. I can get hydrogen into it by just popping that open and letting it waft up. Come on, you know where you're going. That was just a matter of having to do a prolonged job in the carbon suit. Every part of the wire is reachable, except that one. Get on that. Insulation, probably going to become relevant over here. There's no abyssalite line between us and this. All that heat is going to waft its way over. Eventually. I think these farm tiles are going to take away from the active volume of the room. I need to compensate for them by putting a dent in the ceiling. But no. No ceiling door, because I need to trap hydrogen in here. Yes to this tunnel, though, so I can re-access this cavern. What are you doing? I guess pathing to this oxygen. I'll need some sort of arrangement for the generator. Ignore this. Go do anything else with your time. These are moving nearly 400 kilograms of oxygen a day. I think we hold at 6 dupes. Alright, what if I create a Slickster, though? What if I just set up a little heater down here? Thermostat. And I just drop off a friendly critter. Yes, right after I told someone to abandon this place for being too inhospitable, let's just dive back in. What minimum temperature do you need to be happy? At least 35 to be livable. You're freezing right now. You poor thing. Also, it's too small to wrangle. I would need to build a trap. Move it. Which I suppose I can look into. Well, the worst case scenario is it dies. We get a new one later. Also, if it puts oil into the ethanol, that's not terribly much a concern. Also, it's going to be ages before I tap that ethanol. We're still working through the original fuel pile. This lake has been pretty healthy recently. But with the influx of glacier water, gradually bringing that down. And of course, there's a lot more of it waiting to melt out. Eventually. The vacuum is going to slow that down. Once I have AVA suits and I'm willing to go out there, I could build a conductive bridge to pipe more of this heat over into the ice. Help speed that up. Terrifying air pressure and the confusing atmospheric composition of Oxifern Hut. There's some very large carbon blocks that are just having trouble falling into the ferns. Some parts of this, it's become too cold for wood. Tragic. I guess this is gonna be my main storing ground for surplus cats. It's a reasonably large block of nature with plenty of exposed dirt. Any spare cats that land places they shouldn't be wrangled over there. Yes, this reduced the air pressure down here a bit. Not a lot, though. Tries its best. Yeah, that'll chunder its way over here and then immediately get stuck as well, but who knows? Maybe that'll be at least the critical point where I've pulled enough mass out of here. I'm gonna put a dent in the miasma. Can you cool the contents of the storage tank by cooling the tank? Yes. The container exchanges heat with its contents. Sometimes poorly, depending on what it's made of. Okay, overall atmosphere health is increasingly good. The stank line here is receding. Yeah, I could just well widen up this. Now that I have a lot of water, I can see an argument to start using a carbon skimmer. Before that, there were life support concerns about maintaining the amount of matter that we're working with. We clearly have an abundance of matter for life support purposes. Installing a carbon skimmer, specifically in the septic tank, seems advisable. Those should probably be wrangled. Spare hatch that were printed at some point. Get them into the environment. There is no rule against industrial equipment in a farm zone. If anything, I'd hope the opposite. If I just make a bunch of my corridors meet the legal definition of a nature preserve, then morale just goes wild.
The wood plant.
An
With an
interior of liquid pine and elm.
And
Which
an atmosphere of corrosive oxygen.
Yes.
If you observe closely, you will see that it is 100% wood.
Geologic processes by which fresh wood is created, then burned to a crisp by the sun.
The wood planet was created about 20,000 years ago when a god moving at wood speeds exploded or something.
Go times and wood times.
Wood. Oxygen is actually extremely corrosive. That's kind of what it is.
Yes.
It's incredibly electronegative and everything, so it just tears the electrons off of things.
I have seen claims that you can put a building on top of a horizontal door and it will work when the door is closed.
I have no idea if that's the case or not.
We'll find out. If not, I'll just have to move this or open the door and let these just wander in on their own and close the door behind them. Just capture them the regular way. Yeah, good times on the wood planet. There's an abundance of ethanol, many wild trees.
And who knows? Maybe there's 20,000 tons of crude oil somewhere on the planet.
Perhaps. There's
that
direct
about the same
access
thing?
to space. We found space. It's very close by.
Oh, nice. Was this you did
this,
not end up
This
in
is
the
a
center?
misaligned pod.
Gotcha. And you got the better result of being closer to the top than being
Closer.
closer to the lava.
To the top, rather than closer to the hell. There's lava of its own sort nearby.
Ah, was there magma channels?
Probably. That's probably what this is.
Nice.
Pool of magma.
Whoa, that's hot stuff. Wow.
Yes.
Right next to cold stuff. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's how they do.
Abyssalite.
We have a cold carbon geyser, a hot chlorine geyser, and a scalding salt water geyser.
Nice.
These are our material supplies to work with. For the time being. There's also the, there's some other candidate sites that haven't been probed yet. Well, one of them is up against space, so no. Later. And nothing else has appeared yet. The base is doing well, having captured glacier water and fed it into this oxyfern array, which is producing unreasonably high pressure oxygen. You know, can we just print duplicants without ears? They don't seem terribly necessary for this planet. Just leave that out. Just save the goo.
Some goop. Ear goop.
And reposition some of these trees in the interest of establishing more intermediary doors. The side effect of all these expanses of wild plants is I can surround my structures in a ring of park and get huge free morale boosts from all this nature. Yep. She's just prone to taking jobs in the stank. She's been doing a lot of stench engineering.
Good old bad smell.
Suffocation by way of work ethic.
I really do appreciate just the sheer quantity of carbon dioxide everywhere on the wood planet. It makes sense.
There's no alternative.
Yep. Oh, wart seed for free? That's good stuff. Warts just work.
have some strong cooling solutions waiting. I don't run much of my machinery at any given time. It's a very low footprint in terms of electrical consumption on Wood Planet right now. This isn't gonna get anywhere. That one Slickster is probably already frozen to death. They managed to leave some oil on the floor. They're gone, though. It happens.
Yeah. Slicksters need very specific conditions. Or not really. They can actually survive in like a 100-degree range, which is wild, but
It's just that range starts beyond comfortable duplicate temperature.
Yes.
Managing to get the slightest bit of thimble reed fiber. Sneaking in there. Cheap is the real plan, though.
Cheap is real money, right there.
Come on
Not
in.
only is it fiber, but then like
Plastic.
you get it just right. It could be plastic.
It's gonna be plastic.
Nice.
Let's get in here and enjoy.
It's for you.
Just bring your warm hydrogen with you.
Oh, that's smart.
Start a
Yeah.
family here. Look, he loves it. Just both of you enter. Just be inside. Get back upstairs. Go where the food is. This is your home. Good. Full-size stable, as expected. Draco, why must you do this? Every part of this room is valid for you to walk on. Just get in. Get in and stay in. Sheep alarm. Sheep alarm has concluded. Sheep are secure. Yes, their whole warm hydrogen bubble will make its way up. Carbon will slide in to displace it. And we'll have our wool supply. Step one of the grooming process is your rancher walks up to the station and just starts trying to call the wild animal over and waits for them to approach. Your fine hog calling duplicates. This makes sense. Have a coal burner here, powering the ventilation fan, and throwing its exhaust down into the oxyferns for reprocessing. Carbon skimmer is up. That'll do its best to help limit the stench at its source. Looking for ways to skim carbon. Look, there are times when you leave one base for feeling it's gotten irreparably complex, and then immediately make the next base a
Significantly
1,000-fold
more
worse.
complex. Yes.
It's fine. This is organic. These are meat designs. Wood designs.
Just like a tree. It grows outward in a just spiraling outward pattern.
Just a series of layers that keep turning back on each other. Branches just kind of go where they feel like. Yeah, gonna throttle back liquid flow here. And then probably, I'm gonna run the skimmer for a while and then deactivate it after it's successfully put enough of a dent in the carbon backlog. Okay, this reed has managed to come to... No, it's still inert. Alright. Uproot that and we'll try to get it moved. This room is a viable thimble environment. Do not harvest these. These are non-food. Sheep eat these. Sheep and sheep alone. Just like looking at him. Hassan remains highly stressed. Let's see, what is... As our rancher, who has very much a skill loadout going on. We can just get these statues carved. You'll be fine. As I get closer to building my full perimeter park signs.
So oxyferns. On a conversion rate, they're actually very efficient on producing oxygen, right? Yeah.
They are exactly the inverse of a duplicate breathing. At 3.2 ferns per dupe.
Mm-hmm.
Something along that line. And as a way of turning water into oxygen, they are more efficient than
electrolyzers.
Electrolyzers, yeah.
Mhm.
This is all the life support that my 6 dupes need. Need to distribute it effectively. Art is in progress. There it goes. One shape. Yeah, Mirthleaf gets along well with the dupe environments. Just kind of plant those anywhere. Use them to take the edge off of traveling past the compost column.
Beep. Beep.
If I can cut this room vaguely in half, that'll be another set of parks. Something like this. There we go. Just start undoing some of this. many grams per second as it takes to put a dent in the miasma. And if I place it in a closet, then it doesn't disrupt trying to make this a park. Although the gas reservoir might be a bit of an obstacle on that front. Hassan's freaking out a bit. Hassan, what are your priorities? You're supposed to farm and ranch, so what are you doing down here, Hassan? Other than wandering around constantly falling over. Installing dirt in the Oxifern, right. That would be a source of stress. We've gotten pressure under control, though, since I put in the ventilation fan. Things aren't nearly as intense now. At least at the top of the room, the bottom of the room is still very high pressure. It is very strongly a shortcoming in the game that there's not a fan. You'd think there'd be fans.
Yeah, there's only the one, and the only thing it does is move heat, right? It
Yeah,
moves...
The ice fan is not a fan, it's a cooler.
Yeah, it doesn't actually move.
There's no
the
building I
fluid
can
of
put
the
here to
gas.
say push matter that way to create
Yeah.
circulation.
I imagine that would actually be pretty complicated with their system, so I understand why it's not there, but it probably should still be there.
Well, Hassan is getting ready to explode. So let's just go ahead and do the old stopgap of you don't need to get up in the morning. You can just not. You have all the time in the world. space is very warm. There is a quite hot on the surface.
A bit toasty.
Still kind of want to see what that is, but I'd have to start a new exploratory tunnel, since the first one is now open to vacuum. This will probably give us eyes on the hot. We can get this close. Problem. These tiny motes are taking priority somehow over this entire very important tube. There we go. Just had to disambiguate some flow. Now we're good. How can Hassan be so stressed when his job involves visiting every one of our parks? Come on, it's fine.
I think it's actually because of that. Because he's good at farming and wrangling and stuff. The higher the skill level on them, I think the more stress it generates when they do them. Because they do it faster, basically. So they end up doing more of it.
Yeah, it's fine. He's balancing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you would also think the constant exposure to cats would also help.
Yes. The swarms of cats that roam the halls. Every minute of the day.
just coated in cats head to toe.
Now we have most of a protective layer of park around the base. Nobody gets in or out of the main facility without appreciating the nature. Someone mop the oil. Good. Also someone mop the piss. Don't just leave it on the floor.
No.
No, ethanol pump is finally active. That lower pool is being harvested. Get that good and buffered up so we have our secondary fuel source once the first one burns down. Alright, the Draco have been tamed. One of them is tamed, the other isn't yet. We're halfway there. Yeah, if Slickster Farm ever becomes a real option, this is a fine bit of geometry to put it into. Lock off the door, insulate it, climate control it. And just have an oil pit. That'll hold up. The distiller is trying its best to contribute to the fuel. As you do. There we go. Nature perimeter is complete. In all directions. Parks. And exploratory tunnel is open. Hello, a locker room. There's a very warm ocean up, well, a saltwater biome here. There's a beach module. Raising further questions. Okay, this was just a magma tube. That's what it is. This chunk of obsidian that has abyssalite in all other directions, so all of its heat has gone into the ice and now into the void. That's what's going on. This would be the first time I've actually accessed a ruin. If I break into this tiny pool. Yeah, so these are examples of the magma tubes. If you've gotten to them much earlier in the map, they might have still been liquid. These ones have managed to cool slightly, boiling their surroundings in the process. Trying to take the opportunity to dig even further up, see if we can spot any more of the vacuum as we're passing by. Can reach out and grab this algae. This scalding algae. There's the comfy bed.
It's
Look
a
at the
free
size
comfy
of it.
bed.
Yeah, just here in this abandoned lab
It's good stuff.
where sheep came from.
That's plastic.
Ah, but yes, I'm gonna need to... I'll need to attach this to automation then, and then signal it open. Do some repair to reactivate it. My pants. Okay, the carbon is continuing to very slowly recede. Making some headway. Probably I need to bring myself to retooling this room to be more pump driven. Or dig even more ventilation channels.
You could dig more channels.
All this pristine nature that'll just be crisscrossed with thousands of miles of ducts. Alright, even more laboratory here. You can see more of this magma vent. Igneous rock which is melting.
Hmm.
Hi.
Hmm.
Hi. Hi.
That seems okay. That's right. That's all right.
Yeah, that's normal. That's fine. Here's big obsidian plug.
Right.
It's all over
that
1,000
igneous rock-
degrees, directly into this
that igneous-
melting in the igneous rock.
Yeah, and that igneous rock that's melting, it totally has a, well, there's something there. It's right on top of some neutronium.
Cold neutronium. But the neutronium itself seems to always be at absolute zero.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
supposed to
it's-
be completely null.
It's special property. I wonder what's here. This
I wonder if
geyser
that could
in a
be-
volcano.
anything warmer than normal. Could it be?
Nah. Cold slush.
Now we're talking.
Definitely. Metal refinery. Although, in the spirit of the map, maybe instead I want to try and breed the stone hatch. Well, I don't have any sedimentary rock. Do I? I would have to go find sedimentary rock. Or whatever else provokes the formation of the stone hatch in the first place. And then run a nice low heat. Or no, it's Smooth that does that. Smooth is the refinery.
A nice
How do I promote
smooth heat.
Smooth hatch?
Can we get a? What do we get? A hatch made entirely of shark skin.
Now we're talking. That's what agriculture's all about.
Peak smooth.
Alright, first you create a stone, and then by feeding the stone hatch metal ore, it can morph into smooth hatch. That's the process. And to provoke a stone... Yeah, sedimentary. To go for stone. Which we don't have, so we need to go find sedimentary rock. Even more ice out here. Plenty of cold biome to work with. It's close, but not what I'm after. I'll take these eggs. I'll eat these eggs. There's some liquid phosphorus in this blob of steam. And... let's see, what other warm hell nearby? Plenty of molten things have been brought into existence in the hot zones. Yeah, mostly there's a bunch of liquid phosphorus here. 773 grams of crude oil. These have reasonable odds of producing the smooth egg. Alright, that's been several largely successful projects that have created new problems for us to consider.
It's always how it works out. There's no such thing as slowly inching your way without having problems. You always create more problems to answer.
And we got some pretty healthy supplies of material across the board. Well, the main water reservoir is now almost entirely free of food poisoning. 14,000 per tile is practically nothing. You can also just tear down this door. It's only made of copper. Just want to barge my way into this stray apartment, I could. We'll see what's in these lockers. That'll close out the session. Things to consider working on next time. Well, we probably don't need a salt farm, since we have a salt geyser. So, harnessing the salt geyser in a way that's even remotely safe when it's so close to the magma tube here.
That's gonna be a bit difficult.
And probably setting up our first heat sink somewhere. Salt water, a heat sink, and considering relocating power. We got to do a bunch of adjusting of the engineering on the lung farm here.
Is it time for possibly providing Chilldozer?
Could the wood planet be the ideal proving ground for the ultimate thermodynamic weapon?
Chilldozer.
How do we kill a volcano?
Probably steam first, then chill.
Well, Chilldozer, he's at its most effective when operating with very hot water. Should preheat the reactive material of the Chilldozer where possible.
Excellent. All right.
Next time, further developments on the wood planet.